Hello, welcome back, all my favorite coder cats and coder kittens. As usual, this is Becca going by Nightcat or Nightcat's Meow most places online, and I am happy to have you back to once again talk about Linden scripting language. So, last week we were talking about an animation primer in order to ultimately create an animation system that is controlled by note card. So today we're going to cover how to actually read the note card. So to do that, y'all just need your handy dandy ever loyal Mark 1 cube. You can just create a note card. I chose to call it test card. I wrote, this is a note card, this is the second line, this is the last line. That is our data. Now we just need a script in order to actually read the data. So, as with any command that I don't use a lot, we hit the wiki. I just simply did a search on reading note cards, and it brought me the command get note card line. Now the thing is, get note card line is going to produce a key. It produces a key because it has to be processed by a data server call. A data server call is anything that will go into Second Life's wider database and actually pull information out. If you've seen those, is this person online toggle buttons and it has their profile picture on it, that used a data server to get the profile picture if it wasn't added automatically. Or I'm sorry, it wasn't added manually. It's easier to add manually, but you can do it by code, just by using a data server. So the data server is the complicated part of this, though. The easiest way to run that would be to just literally copy from there, drop it in. Then you'll also want the variables that need to be global. Which gives you key, note card query ID. That is the key that is going to be generated as part of our code that will be fed into the data server via this command right here. Don't really need the state entry. All right, so the line the note card we're going to give it, test note, I remember right is what I called it, test card. I am a flake today. Line 0. Let's start with that. It wanted a string for which note card line. We're dealing with that entirely manually. So actually, we don't even need to put much in there. So end of note card. Go home. Now they had set it to use this to automatically bump the note card lines on up, but I'm doing it a little bit differently, so we don't need those. So even when you're pulling from a base like on the wiki, you still need to know what to change and what to edit. So this should function right here. Everything's compiled. Read. Object, line, this is a note card. As you recall, that was in fact the first line on the note card. So, this script has successfully queried Second Life's database and pulled what the first line of that note card is. But that isn't necessarily all you need to do. So you need to be able to go through and read multiple lines. So, we're going to make an integer line equals 0. we're going to go in here, make that integer line, and then line equals line plus 1. You could also do line plus plus. It's perfectly valid. It's a shorthand for +1. I find it just happens to be easier to read when you actually spell out line plus 1. Yeah, it's intuitive, it's natural, and it doesn't really do any harm to do it that way. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to, you do not need the brackets when you only are processing one line of code, but if you're processing more than one, they are required. Line equals 0. So if you hit the end of the note card, it will tell you it hit the end of the note card, and it will start your count over from the beginning of the note card. Easy enough. Then down here, it will continue to spell out the appropriate data. This is a note card. This is the second line. This is the last line. End of note card. Go home. This is a note card. So there you have it. That is how you go ahead and cycle through. Every line on that note card needs a separate data server call. So you can put a lot of things in there that determine what each call is, what you need to do with it. You can set up things that say, after this point, treat the data differently based on different toggle flags in there. We'll go over some of that when we go into assembling this into an actual animation controller. But you have a primer on animation, and you have a primer on managing note cards. So that will go ahead and be it for this week's edition of Coder Kitty's Workshop. Thank you all for coming. I've had a couple of you wonderful people actually throw me a bit of Linden to try to help me deal with this. As you've noticed, it's not got me back to my old sim. I am maintaining a few things that are unrelated that you all are making possible. You are making a tremendous difference in my quality of life there. I will actually see if I can get approval to film in the place that I have my small rentals in the next couple of weeks. Shouldn't be a problem. Again, thank you. Just the Discord messages or the occasional comments or the messages in Second Life. It's not like this series is going to reach the point I can monetize it anytime soon through YouTube. That's just not looking plausible. I'm not even a quarter of the way to being allowed to try. So all those little bits of encouragement really do keep me going. If any of you think this would be worth a very small Patreon, it would make a huge difference for me right now with everything that I'm trying to struggle with. So if you want a message in Second Life or on Discord or the like, the links for the Discord, of course, are in the description. That would be very helpful to know. Until then, as always, good day, good week, good luck, happy scripting, meow.